Right, boys and girls, so I thought I would do this little video. So what I'm doing here today is on this Fiat Scudo is changing the EGR valve, because the EGR valve's just getting stuck and failing. There's the old unit which we've removed, so it's a big lump, this thing. Commonly they don't fail too bad, to be honest. I mean, the last two of these I've done 230,000 and 240,000 this one was on, so it's lasted pretty well. Ignore the Peugeot badge, it's got the wrong grille in it. Although they're all the same van, just to be clear. So this would apply for the 2 litre HDI in the Peugeot, Citroen, Fiat. They're all the same engine. I mean, this is also the same engine that's in the Mark IV Mondeos. They put it in loads of different things. So Peugeot, Citroen, French. So there's where it lives down there. You can see you've got your 2 ports on the head there. One's a water port, one's the exhaust port. There is... Now, the reason I'm doing this video is because this thing is a bear to get out. So we need to clean that up because it's seen better days. But here's the thing. So this EGR unit, this is the new one. So you've got a bolt. So basically you have to remove the intake flap, which is basically just a load of Allens, a couple of wood plugs, wire connectors to get out of the way. Once you've done that, there's a plastic shield over the top that has 3 nuts. Well, there's 1 nut here on that stud. There's another nut under this side, and then there is another bolt down the bottom that goes into the engine that is awkward to get to say the least. Let's show you. So here's the piece of plastic. So this is the piece of plastic that the intake manifold sits on. Yeah, it sits on the engine like that. So there's your bit down this side with your bolt hole down there, and then you've got 1 up there and 1 up there. So that bolts to the head, and then basically all your little bits and pieces get bolted off that. So get this right, so there's 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. Sits like that. Obviously your engine cover, if it had one, would sit on there, but these don't have the engine cover. So you've got 3 bolts, and then there is a wiring connector pushed in that hole there on the side. Don't forget to take that out, because otherwise you'll never get it out. Now, to get the actual EGR valve out, there is a stud with a nut, which I have removed under here. You have to remove the stud because it makes getting the EGR valve out easier. Then you have 3 bolts on here that basically connect your EGR and hold it to your block. Now, the problem is you either have to remove the thermostat housing off the side of the engine so that you can slide it out this way, or you have to reach underneath here. Let's see if I can show you. There is the port, the EGR port just there, which circulates the gas back into the intake. Now that is this part. This back screw, you have to take the EGR loose, drop it down, and then you have to get under there with various things to try to undo these 2 torque screws. Once you've removed those, the EGR valve comes out quite easily. If you don't remove those, it's basically impossible to get it out without, like I say, you've got to remove something. So you've got to remove, like I say, either the thermostat housing to get it to go over, or you've got to remove that pipe. That pipe is easier to remove. It is fiddly and it is awkward, but it's easier to remove than having to deal with all the wiring and the brackets and everything, and the I mean, it's only 4 bolts hold that on, but then obviously you've broke the seal. It is a rubber gasket, so technically it would be okay, but you're better off avoiding that if you can. So yeah, it's a bit of a wriggle and a bear. Not a favourite job of mine to take that out. So, oh, and that pipe there is also a little bit annoying, because it's that one there. You can get to it okay, but the pipe tends to be really well stuck. And then the other thing that happens is, not only is the pipe really well stuck, you can't, the Jubilee clip on mine broke, so it turned into a bit of a nightmare trying to get that out, hence the reason it's got a proper Jubilee clip on it now. But the thing is, the pipe, because it's been on there its entire life, is just really hard to get off. So yeah, just bear that in mind. But yeah, I mean, they're fiddly, but not horrific. So I just thought I'd share that with you. But yeah, so that's how you get those out. Like I say, load of bolts, just remove the bits off the front here, get that piece of plastic out of the way. There's that plastic, that plug that's clipped to the side there that you have to make sure you get out of the way. The dipstick is bolted to the EGR valve as well. There's a nut holds that onto the EGR valve, so you need to take that out. And there you go. A way of telling me if the EGR valves on these are faulty is these engines, when you turn them off, you actually hear a dink, 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 dink into the engine bay, and it's actually the EGR valve, which is one of the reasons these actually last so long, is because they cycle themselves fully open, fully closed, fully open, fully closed, probably 4 or 5 times every time you turn the car off, which is actually probably what keeps them so long, because a lot of the Renaults suffer from EGR valves sticking because they don't use them. And then when they do use them, they only use them a tiny little bit, and then when it does need to move a lot, it's seized and you pay 300 quid for a new EGR valve. Well, no, it's what, 210. That was 350. So they're not cheap. But like I say, they do seem to last pretty well. So yeah, I think that's about all I've got to say on the subject. Better sign off and get this thing thrown back in. And then maybe the clutch will arrive and I can take the gearbox out. Catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.